Something that really surprises me is that a lot of people will just jump on social media without a plan whatsoever and just go with the flow every single day and just hope everything will eventually fall into place. They're just posting content every single day, picking ideas out the air. They've got no real strategy behind anything they're doing, and consequently, they are just failing. And it's unlikely that things will fall into place. And that's why today I'm going to explain exactly why you need a content strategy when you are trying to succeed in growing a brand on social media. There are 4 key points as to why you need one, and they are what I'm going to talk about in today's episode of Social Media Marketing School. So without any further ado, let's just dive straight into the first point. And that is that a content strategy gives you direction. If you don't know what you want to achieve or what you're aiming to achieve on social media, then you don't know what content you're going to need to produce in order to get there. You're at point A, you want to be at point B, the content you produce is going to bridge the gap between those 2 points. But if you don't have a strategy and a layout of the content that you need to produce to bridge that gap, you're never going to be able to. Because if you don't know where you're going to get to and your content is all over the place, how are you expecting people to find you, follow you, and help you to get to that point in which you want to get to? Let's say you are a personal trainer and you want to get online clients to join your coaching program. From that, you know that your outcome you want to achieve is that you want to get clients to join your online coaching program. Now you need to think to yourself, right, what content do I need to produce in order to get those online coaching clients? Now you're getting there. And then it's a case of finding those content topics for the content you are producing that is most likely to convert those clients to those online coaching clients that you desire. It's very simple, but you need to decide on an outcome that you're aiming to get to. Don't just post and hope that things will fall into place. Have an idea. Where are you aiming to get? You can then work backwards and work out the content that you need to produce in order to get there. And now you have some form of direction with the content you are producing. The next great thing about a content strategy is that it gives you brand consistency. If you're listening to this podcast, it's likely that you've heard of Gary Vaynerchuk. He's one of the biggest guys when it comes to entrepreneurship, and he produces a hell of a lot of content on social media. But he has a solid content strategy, and his brand consistency is phenomenal. You will notice that he talks about a lot of the same topics over and over and over again. And that's not because he's run out of ideas or he's being boring. It's strategic. He wants to be known for something very specific. And therefore, that's what he's talking about. It's highly likely that he's going to repeat himself on a lot of the things he's going to talk about, but that's going to make him known for that thing that he is talking about, because people are going to continue to see that over and over again. And it's worked perfectly, because I'm now telling you how well it's worked for him and giving him the credit for it, and now he may potentially gain some new followers from that. And think how many people he's influenced. I'm a very small fish in a big pond. He's one of the biggest fish, but if you've got all of these other smaller fish talking about you, that big fish is going to get even bigger. So that brand consistency is going to help really unify your message over time, which in turn is going to help people promote you more as an individual, because you will be known for that specific topic that you are talking about. People will also become very familiar with your values. If you are very directional, like we mentioned in the previous point of where you want your content to get you, people will understand where you come from. People will buy into your content for you as the individual and follow you because of your values, and they like the content you produce and how you say it. So if you are consistent over an extended period of time, people will realize what these values are, and they will potentially join that online coaching platform because your values align with theirs. The people that are most likely to buy from you are the ones that like you as an individual. You may be the best at what you do, but if people don't have the same values as you, or they don't like the certain way you talk about things, the chances of them buying from you aren't as high. They may go with the person who has slightly less knowledge, but all of their values align. So if you are just consistent with your brand message, you will have your values there out in the open for people to see. If they like them, great. If they don't, it's not a loss to you because they probably weren't going to buy from you anyway. You want the people who are following you to align exactly to the people that you want to work with. So by having those values out there showcased consistently through that brand consistency, which a content strategy is going to give you, it will do just that. So from a content strategy so far, we've got direction of where we want to go. We've got brand consistency. We're unifying our message and showcasing our values. Next, a content strategy is going to be able to give you efficiency in the content you produce. You know what you need to produce because you know what direction you need to head in. You know, therefore, the topics that you need to talk about. And therefore, this is going to allow you to come up with high quality ideas, which in turn will help you produce high quality content efficiently on a regular basis. If you know what you need to do, you know what you need to create. And when you know what you need to create, you can be very specific and create high quality content around those topics. You are able to tell people that don't have any true direction in what they're doing because the quality of their content will lack because they aren't specific enough. They don't know enough about what they're talking about, and therefore the quality of their content's gonna lack. But if you know what you need to create, you can learn about that topic in great detail so that you are able to best service your followers, your audience, by producing the highest quality content. So it's all becoming a streamlined process now. And it all stems from the fact you've got that structure, you know the direction you need to head, and you know the content you need to produce in order to get there. But having that content strategy is not just about knowing how to get from A to B, it's knowing how to create that content effectively and efficiently. So having that content creation process that I've spoken about a lot before, knowing that you should be posting 5 to 7 times a week to really attract as much attention as you want, and therefore you need to create those posts in advance and not rush them on the day of posting. Having that solid content creation strategy. I've spoken about batch content creation. I create all of my content on the weekend so that I can have full focus on it, so that I don't have to worry about it and rush it in the week. I've created a week in advance, and therefore I know that every single piece of content I create is of the quality I want it to be. If I rushed it, it wouldn't. So having that strategic direction, having that brand consistency allows me to then efficiently create high quality content because I know what I need to create. So now we have direction, we have brand consistency, and now we have efficiency. And these things combined lead to the fourth point I want to mention, which is structure. All of these things need to come together to form a whole. The structure of your brand needs to be consistent. It needs to be efficient. It needs to be high quality. But when you've come to terms with all of this, the aesthetics of your grid are going to align. The message you are trying to put across is going to be consistent. And therefore, the people that follow you are going to understand the journey you are taking them on. It is structured. You are taking them from point A to point B with your content. For example, let's talk about what I do. I help individuals, business owners, personal brands grow on social media so that they can then leverage the audience they build to then grow their business. So the content I produce needs to help them do just that. So if I'm consistent with that message, consistent with the content I produce revolving around that, I then have that structure that is clear to these individuals. When they visit my page, they know that is what they are going to learn if they follow me. If you didn't have that direction and your content was all over the place, people are going to follow you and look at your page and go, what the hell am I learning here? Nothing's consistent. There's no consistent brand message. The quality of the content's low because nothing's the same. I'm not really learning anything because it's all really random. It's not taking me in the direction I want it to take me. But if you've got those other 3 pillars combined, you now have this structure that is compelling to the people visiting your page, which in turn makes them want to follow you. When you've got them as that follower, they're now in your ecosystem. They are now in your sales funnel. So if you now continue to produce this high quality content over time, you will build that trust. You will show your authority, which will help them funnel them down into your sales funnel even further. You may potentially build that relationship in the DMs, organize that discovery call, or they may head to the website link in your bio and want to buy straight directly from you simply because you've built that trust within your content. But without the effective content strategy that you have created, none of that would have happened. So having that structure, it makes your content more compelling. It makes it more engaging. And when it's more engaging, you're much more likely to increase your conversion rate. So that is why you need a content strategy. If you don't, you have no direction right now. Your content is going to lack brand consistency. And therefore, you won't produce high quality content or be efficient with the content you create. And therefore, you have no structure. So please, if you haven't already, take a step back from what you're doing now and come up with that effective content strategy.